Here. Takes one to be here. Takes one to be I just want to let you know, when Green is bringing it on, he was having some technical bits about we're waiting on waiting Green for a minute. It's also the rails now. I think that we're going to have to create rails very much arranged. So No, that makes sense. It's officers. They just saw the non-existence and now and since they there's the end that's all. That's awesome. We want to, I guess we might be story on here, keep some publishing now. So anyway, it's start. Everybody, it can be. We didn't have any issues last time, so I'm not sure what. It seems to be the insight was only the email address is working now, so then he was sort of it was his personal, so now he's not going to get him on that way. Something this, yeah.
We're probably gonna get started. Well, I will in a couple of days. I said, I think.
Yeah, he didn't actually come out there. I'm not sure he didn't have any problems last time at all, so I'm not sure what.
Okay.
We're ready to go. So he's got his gun. All right, we're good.
He's ill?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's not on the university. We got something that all we can do is all, you know.
Okay. They're working on. Would you please give notification?
Yeah, so we get prior notification, 10 days ahead on air and then 7 days ahead online into the Secretary of State's office. Notice of this meeting to have prior notice.
Okay. I've designated Logan Glass as the acting secretary for today. So, Logan, would you please call the roll?
Les Barnett, here. Tawana Adatucci,
Here.
Pete Conroy, here. Logan Glass, here. Jimmy Williams,
By the way, BB's sister, she was supposed to be here, but her sister had an emergency, and she it's so bad that she couldn't come. So she did ask for all to pray for her sister. Beth.
Jeff Stevens,
Here.
Ben Green Jr.
They're working on getting him online, so as soon as he gets online, I'll notify you guys.
Okay,
Sure, that looks like Ben for.
I'll call this meeting to order. First order. Well, first, let's. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes for both meetings, the October 28th meeting and the November 18th meeting as well?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposition? Motion carries. First, the setting of other business. I would like to set three things. One is Dr. Douglas Ragland's position on the Foundation Authority Board expires this year. It's a 4-year term, so I would like to put on the agenda to reconfirm him, reappoint him as on the Alabama Educational Foundation Authority. And also, a former Senator, Dick Brubaker, who used to be the Education Committee Chairman of the Senate and a prominent businessman, expressed an interest in being on the Foundation Board as well. And so I would like to put his name up for a vote for appointment. And then thirdly, I would like to establish a nominating committee for officers. So the next item on the agenda is for the new business for Executive Director Wayne Reed.
My voice is not really strong right now, so I made a change to our presentation. Normally, I give most of the presentation. A lot of our leadership is going to be doing presentations today. So let me go ahead and share. Get this started so I can share with everybody.
What would you mind if we went ahead and took that those items up first?
No, that's fine.
Okay. The first item is to reappoint Dr. Douglas L. Ragland as the on the Foundation Authority Board. He served very well. Everyone knows Dr. Ragland, but he most don't know his record. He's been superintendent of education for Greene County. He's been superintendent of education for Midfield City Schools. He's been on the Birmingham Board of Education as an elected member in the past. He's on the Alabama Commission on Higher Education. The governor appointed him recently for that position. He's also the governor's Minority Affairs Board. And Dr. Reagan, I think that also you're on a liaison with the military, aren't you?
I'm the Alabama Commissioner for the Military and State Children's Compact.
Yes, okay. And so, so I'd like to entertain a motion to renominate Dr. Ragland for a 4-year term on the board. Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Also, as I mentioned, Senator Dick Brubaker has expressed an interest on the Foundation Authority Board. He's a former senator from Montgomery. He's helped APT in the past very much as a senator. He knows all about us. He was a very powerful senator. He was head of the board of the chairman of the committee on education policy. He's a longtime business person in Montgomery, owned Brubaker Motors, the largest in Montgomery. Well-connected businessman, knows a lot of people with money. He's also has a high reputation in the House and Senate. So if we need him to be an advocate for us, especially with things like funding, I think he would be a very good person to help. So,
Second that nomination.
okay.
Discussion? Yes. I don't know, man, and would like possibly for him to come and address us, or maybe meet him and learn a little bit more about him before we invite him to be a part of the foundation. I think this is a really important time to be thinking about the foundation in a new and different way. I think like the foundation has not been successful in raising funds in the past, and I think it's time for kind of hit the reset button. And we'd like to know what his views are about that kind of thing before we move forward. I know there's as I just mentioned to you a few minutes ago, I think all of us have been receiving a lot of emails and calls from wealthy people in the state of Alabama that want to help. And I think a coordinated approach to kind of rethinking our foundation is appropriate right now. And so I guess I'd like to table the motion until we get the opportunity to visit with him. Now, others may know him super well, but I don't.
Well, one of the reasons I think it would be good to put him on now is because, one, he's been our advocate for so long, and while he was a member of the Senate. And also, by the time our next quarterly meeting would come, our legislative session would be over. So I would like to have him as our advocate. The session just started, and so I would like, my idea was to have him on, right away. I think we can't lose by having him on.
I'd like to follow question. Question of the motion.
Could I say something as a member of the foundation board? You just said that you wanted him to act as an advocate for the foundation during the legislative session. Shouldn't the foundation have a say as well in the addition of new members to its? I know it's not our actual responsibility, but to say he's going to represent the foundation to the legislature, I don't think it's quite accurate. We haven't sat down and discussed anything really needed.
Well, the statutory authority of the gives the commission alone the authority to appoint foundation members.
But you said he was going to represent the foundation
Oh, well,
to the legislature.
that's up to him. That's up to him.
That would be up to the entire membership.
Well, it'd be up to him whether to do it at all. I just think that he always has been our friend in the legislature. Anyway, the question's been called. So, all in favor of having Senator Dick Brubaker as a member of the Foundation Authority Board, I guess we need a roll call vote. So, yeah.
Wes Barnett. Tijuana Tunji?
Well, this is to put, whether we vote up or down to have Dick Brubaker on the Foundation Authority Board.
You're on mute, by the way.
Hi.
You're good.
That's all. I said aye.
Kay Conner?
Yeah.
Logan Glass, yes. D.B. Williams? Larry Stevens?
Yes.
Doing great.
Keep it on there. William,
It's up or down vote to have Dick Brubaker on the Foundation Authority Board.
he's still muted. That's not, but he's muted. Yeah. William, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
Your vote is?
Vote is to have a up or down vote on having former Senator Dick Brubaker as a member of the Alabama Alabama Educational Television Foundation Authority Board.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. Next item on the agenda is appoint a nominating committee. I'd like to, this would be for the, to meet before the next meeting. So I would like to appoint, I'd like to appoint myself, William Green, Les Barnett, and Tawana Anatunji on the nominating committee. Director Reed, and I'll now turn the meeting over to you.
All right. So again, I'm sorry, my voice is kind of in and out. I'm going to switch screens here. If I can see. Just an update, since we're talking about committees from the last meeting, the committee to start the survey and study. It's slow rolling now. I'll be working on that this month to put a smaller committee together to put what the questions are we want to do, what our different options are for how we can do that study, that we can then bring back to the commission. But we should be up a meeting on that in the next couple of weeks here. Holidays kind of slowed everything down, and had a few health issues that I was dealing with as well. So we kind of ended up slow rolling a little bit. So we're ready to get started now. I should get, like I said, in the next few weeks, we'll have some stuff put together so we can start meeting and then bring some information back to the commission for review before we go even any further from there. So
let me mention one other thing about that. The last meeting, I wasn't expecting the committee to be emotional, the committee, but I would like to add that I think it's an important part of the committee, and probably a key part of the committee, is to the governor's plan is what we're seeking to carry out in the letter that she sent, and so that's what the motion was for. And so, and in her letter, she makes the priorities for APT, and she says it is imperative that APT's program align with Alabama values. And she was very specific. She says, as governor, I have worked hard to promote and defend Alabama values, from standing up for the sanctity of human life, for our rights to religious liberty, to standing against DEI, CRT, and boys playing and girls sports. And then she goes on to say, for the sake of our people, it is imperative that APT's programming align with Alabama values. And I think as part of the committee, when you choose to pick the committee, and also in the survey questions and that focus on what the governor embraces here, that we should embrace that.
the governor's letter is what we're going to go by. So,
Okay.
yeah. All right. Get started. Highlights for kind of what's been happening. We've had a pretty busy fourth quarter. We call it first quarter because it starts in October, and that's the way the state works. But I'm going to let us start with our chief engineer, Daniel Black, director of engineering. Give you some updates on some things that have been going on, some things that we knew were going and how they're proceeding, and then some things that were unexpected.
Thanks, man. So we really have three big items on our plate coming up. First, I'll talk about the addition of WJIQ in Winfield, which is right outside the city limits of Winfield in Fayette County, right there on the Fayette-Lamar County line. So as you all know, we received a donation of a building in an existing tower that had sat vacant for about 6 years. And so the building needs a little renovation before we put a transmitter in it. The tower needed some beef up work before we put a new antenna and transmission line on it. So tower crew arrived to do that and found that the tower was unsafe. We had a structural engineer sign off on the decommission. So we tore that tower down and we need to build a new 200-foot tower. Thankfully, it's a short tower. It won't take them very long to fabricate it and build it. But we're going through all hoops right now to get that done. So that was kind of unexpected, but we'll get through it. The building renovation is hopefully going to start, I'm hoping, next month in February. The tower, it won't take them long, like I said, to get it fabricated, get it shipped, and get it here. Hoping by spring is what we're hoping for. And then, so that will come online. I don't have an ETA because, weather plays into that. I don't want to, I don't want to say when, but our fingers are crossed. So everything's built out. Our new antenna's already on site. The transmission line's on site in storage. The new transmitter has been ordered and built, manufactured. It's in storage, ready to go.
I was going to say, one of the things, so this money was the money that we got allocated from the legislature, how many years ago, Jack? 4 or 5 years ago?
21, I think.
Yeah, so the money is there, and actually we have enough money to cover, we actually haven't put the new tower in, so they gave us more money than we didn't know exactly what we were going to need. So when we did our estimate, I think Wendell at the time was the chief engineer, anticipated this could be a possibility, and so we have the money to be able to cover that. The money's been set there dedicated specifically for that. So next,
Next.
you got a question?
Yeah. So the tower that you had to take down, was it in operation at the time?
It was not. It had sat vacant, not taken care of by the previous owners for 6 years. It was a hollow leg tower. All the weak holes in it were stopped up, full of rust. You could take your pocket knife and cut through the place of the tower.
Yeah.
So
They were pretty adamant about getting it down as quickly as possible to keep it from damaging the building potentially.
And our primary method.
that's correct. The site will not have so we'll feed it SI right fiber, feed it 2 different fiber providers. Next is replacing our transmitter building in Mount Cheehaw. We are in the process of contracting with SSNA Architects in Montgomery to oversee not only this, they're going to help us with the building out the new tower, the structural engineering going along with that, but also the new transmitter building for Mount Cheehaw. If you guys have been to Cheehaw, you know that building up there. Disaster, an eyesore. So the plan is to drop in 2 smaller communication type shelters near that building move everybody over, AT&T, all the tower tenants, T-Mobile, everyone else over into the other building, and then demo the current building and the park, Shell State Park, and do with that whatever they want to make overlook or build a restaurant or whatever they want to do up there. But that's our plan going forward with SSNA.
And we're having to work with the park department. They have a big, huge project going up there now with they're building a new lodge, and they've put in new water filtration system and everything for the park. So that's been almost a year and a half project by the time we get done this summer. So we're having to try to coordinate with them when we can actually get started in order, because the buildings are 6 months on back order. So we're having to play guessing games with them on when we can actually get in and get started on our project itself. But the good news is we got the money to be able to get that taken care of, because that is a bad situation with that transmitter up there at G-Hall.
Lastly is the new State House in Montgomery, our AT&T space, and the new State House going in. SSNA also is going to help us with that. They're going to coordinate with RSA's GC and getting our studio space built out. Studio space, office space, edit suites, control room, network room, green room, everything. We don't really have a timeline because, like I said, we're still in the process of getting the contract with SSNA signed right now. But the plan is to, while that's being done, is to move the Capitol Journal team. We'll have to move out of the current State House soon to move them over to Madison Avenue temporarily and do Capitol Journal out of Madison Avenue studio, which needs a little beefing up over there as far as lights, lighting grid, lighting controller, all that for the studio there. But that's the plan for this year, is to move those guys temporarily to Madison Avenue and make it look like nothing's changed while the new State House space is being built out.
Which will probably happen as soon as the session is over and wrapped up. Our understanding is they're going to start moving pretty quick about getting everybody out of that old building.
They're talking about July this year.
Yeah, trying to get everybody out of that building, because it's got to come down. Because I believe they're building a parking deck where the current State House is. Or green space. Next door, that's right, and it's in the process of being built right now. So, thanks, Shay. Next we go to Mike McKenzie. We'll talk about programming.
Yeah, we had, I think, more local programming the first quarter of this year than we had any time in recent history. We've been moving up and up and up, and football contributed a lot to that, of course. Capitol Journal was on every week. We had 4 new episodes of Buzz in Birmingham, looking at nonprofits in the Birmingham area, including Children's Harbor, New Creek Stables, Iron City Trikes, and the Alabama Task Force Canine Search and Rescue. We had Respite for All, the story of a program for helping provide services for daycare services for people with Alzheimer's and relief for their full-time caregivers. The program started in Montgomery with one Methodist church and has since grown to 17 programs in the state of Alabama and 60 plus total programs around the country. I'm working with NETA, the National Educational Television Communications Group, to do a national distribution of that, which we think would be a lot of interest in. Capitol Journal did a follow-up to that to interview the founders of the program, and also a little bit more detail on the local programs across the state. Spotlight on Agriculture did Thank You Farmers, and thank you to Mike Owsley, producer over there. Discovering Alabama gave us beloved mascots, the story of how the elephant and the tiger came to represent our 2 big Alabama teams, and also look at the situation of elephants and tigers in the wild, which is precarious, unfortunately. Football, again, we had the games of the week every week for October, the playoff games of the week every week for November. Just real quick, I want to remember this on this slide. The Birmingham Southern Alumni Choir. I worked with the producer of Buzz in Birmingham to bring us that program. Birmingham Southern, of course, closed last year. The choir is still active and doing great work. And I worked with Map 360 and Troy State University to bring us American Revival with Yo-Yo Ma, which was a live show done in October. Back to the football, the Super 7 championships in December. Always a huge boost to the numbers of viewers watching Alabama Public Television, and those numbers continue on outside of the game. So we know that we're bringing more audience to all of the programming by doing the football, which is what we hope to do. One of our big missions is to bring more people to the programs. We also had two extra special games after the championships, the North-South All-Star Classic and the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Classic. I missed a slide for Monograph here. We also did the final season of Monograph during the first quarter. We had a number of great specials there, including a look at the work on Sloss Artist Arts Program. Nationally, we had, of course, the big dramas from PBS on Sunday nights. Call the Midwife Holiday Special and American Masters on Dick Van Dyke, that premiered for his 100th birthday. And the big star of the fall was Ken Burns' American Revolution, which saw tremendous viewership and streaming that was really remarkable. A lot of people watched the whole thing as soon as they could. And PBS made it an extra special window for free viewing of the program. So throughout November and December, anybody could watch the program, stream it for free. And of course, we're rebroadcasting it now in January. In fact, we're going to celebrate President's Day by the culminating episode of the American Revolution, where we win the war.
Pick president.
Yeah. I mentioned that how good football was doing in other programs, and I just picked out a few nights where we did really well nationally. Like Thursday, October 2nd, Birmingham was the #2 station in the country in PBS, triple the national average. That was for an AHSA AM. The regular programming does really well too. On Monday, October 13th, a week and a half later, we were the number 10 in the U.S., 50% above average for Antiques Roadshow. We know our viewers really love Antiques Roadshow. On December the 17th, Birmingham was number 4 in the U.S. for PBS News, number 10 for Nature, and number 8 for Nova. So that was double the national average, 33% above and 50% above the national average for those programs. So we're excited that we're doing so well. Obviously, a lot of our viewers are watching. Upcoming local specials, we've got Jimmy Johnson and Friends coming from Jacksonville State University. That's right around the corner. Muscle Shoals to Music Row was a series we did for 4 years, ending in 2020 with the pandemic when you couldn't put a bunch of musicians in the studio anymore. And we're coming back with that. I think 19 total new episodes out of our friends from Big River Broadcasting. Nick Price there was just named Alabama Broadcaster. Nick Martin was named Alabama Broadcaster of the Year for all the work he does. We're having the broadcast premiere of the YouTube special Jeffrey's Southern Ghosts, a Phantom Steamboat at the Tom Digby special. Heather may be talking about that in more detail. Tuxedo Junction, the Almost Lost Story. I think probably everybody knows the name Tuxedo Junction from the songs that it's been in, and the fact that it's not that far away from here, but it's not what you would think of it. And this really goes through the entire history of Tuxedo Junction and what it meant to the Birmingham area. We've got another spotlight on agriculture coming our way called Master Gardeners, also in February. In March, we'll do the basketball championships, and we'll start a broadcast version of Garden Party, which is our hit YouTube series that I'm sure Heather will discuss a little bit more. We've got Ron Creel, the Alabama State Games story, coming in April. Oh, I should mention Garden Party. We have an Easter broadcast special for that. Ron Creel, the Alabama State Games story. Ron Creel, of course, created the Alabama State Games, and this goes over the history of those Olympic-style games for youth here in Alabama. And Blaze the Trails of Alabama, a new documentary from Jacksonville State University. It is a gorgeous program, as you probably know, Pete. I think a few of us have seen that demo reel. And do we have a?
I do have a trailer.
Have a trailer for your show?
How do you get to know a place like Alabama? Because it's incredibly full of surprises, the whole state. It's like waking up and discovering your best friend that you played with is suddenly a billionaire.
I think everyone should have the opportunity to experience the outdoors and fall in love with it.
Not many states can claim they have not only the Appalachian Mountains, but the Gulf Coast.
Our blueways are a flagship of the entire country. This is something that people wish they could have in their backyards like we do have here in Alabama.
If we could just get out and get away and surround ourselves with silence, it's amazing what that does for your attitude and your outlook and your approach to the next week, to your life, to your family.
If you don't maintain these trails, roots grow up underneath, and if you don't repave, it becomes impassable. So this is a forever project.
More than a desire for career advancement or increase in salary, that tech talent audience frequently lists outdoor recreation and proximity to the outdoors as #1 reason they locate to a given geography.
And those trails will call and they'll say, come and explore Alabama's amazing biodiversity. Reconnect with nature and understand what it really means to live in this beautiful state.
Again, you can kind of see from some of that video, the show covers a whole lot of the state. I mean, I've been on a lot of these trails as a scout leader for 20 plus years, and watching the show just makes you excited to live in Alabama. So we'll be happy to premiere that on April 23rd, which is the day after Earth Day.
Sorry, there was a delay on that because we had to bring it in from YouTube. We weren't able to embed it because we didn't get it till late yesterday evening. So sorry about the delay on that.
Lastly, I'll finish up. We have a couple of special events coming up. Andrea Bocelli Romanza 30th anniversary concert at the Legacy Arena. We partnered with the promoters of that, and that brought in something like $25,000 in ticket sales. So very exciting at this time of needing extra fundraising. And to finish out, we talked about American Revolution earlier. We've got an event that is funded by the American Revolution grant coming up on March 5th in Fairhope, a screening of part of the American Revolution. I'm going to talk with Mike Bunn, the historian and author of the 14th Colony, which talks about the big role that Alabama played in the American Revolution that not many people know about.
It features with the Porch Creek Indians and that.
We have Andrea McGee from the Porch Creek tribe, as well as John Sledge, Mobile historian, Philip Carr, and archaeologist Sarah Price, who are also down in the Mobile area. So that would be a really great informational piece that talks about Alabama's role in the revolution. Anything?
Question.
Yeah.
Clarifying this. The Birmingham being rated so high on several things. Best in the nation. Was that, do we have a notion of what percent of those viewers were Alabama versus nationwide?
Well,
That was
what that is that's how we were the top market, Nielsen market, for those programs. So we had the highest percentage of people from Alabama watching those programs compared to other states.
Yeah, and those are, the only reason, it's Birmingham specific because Birmingham is the only overnight market in the state that has overnight ratings from Nielsen. Speaking of Nielsen, this is just some numbers. I'll give them a second to pop up here. This is about a 6-second delay on these. For the regular season, which is something new we did this year, which was the Thursday night football games from 7 to 10. I know that's kind of hard to see, but you can see from the households, we averaged about 12,000 households a night. But in the actual demos, the people 2+, we were over 45,000 on the Thursday night games, and about 38,000, almost 39,000 on 18+. We had one Friday night game, which was the opening weekend. We were over 11,000 households and close to 13,000 people watching. But to give you an example, I would just say on the Thursday night average, we were about 600 or 700% more than our normal amount of viewing for 18+ and for 2+. So a huge amount more people watching those. And I'm interested to look at Doug as much as I want to yet. Starting to dig in is we saw when we started bringing just the championships with the overflow of the people watching other programs within APT. They've been exposed to those promos, and quite frankly, I think forget we're there. I mean, they do it with all channels. But we saw a boost in other programming too. So I'm going to go back and look at some of our other typical programs and see if we saw any boost in those this year from the regular season that we have not seen before. Yeah.
Mike, I think we got a letter from I don't know who it's from, but you'll know that during the playoffs, corresponded the same week. That our Friday night, we were the top, well, the final night, American Revolution. We were the top, we were the top overnight market in the country. Our high school football against the American Revolution. Yeah. Of course, everybody knew who was going to win the American Revolution. They did this.
Let's say for all of you who watched the entire thing leading up to that Friday night, we apologize. We had to tell you the football game, but yeah, it did. You're kind of expecting, you know what to expect exactly on that, and the numbers are very good, and it was a great game.
They didn't seem too excited about telling us that. So.
Yeah. Now I'm going to Tiffany Armstrong, cover what we've done in education.
So we're going to kick off with our Teacher of the Month. We had 3 winners, obviously, January, February, March. Stacy Tatum with Alberta Elementary School. Christina Gotzi with Fairfield Preparatory School. And Ms. Jones with Millbrook Middle School. So we love doing our Teacher of the Month. We see that that's something continuing. We give $1,000 to each teacher for coming that we select. So they each get $1,000 to use towards good things in their classroom. Education blogs. We had a total of 8 blogs this quarter. Most of those blogs are written on the Teacher of the Month, but also other things, shows coming up. But we used this time, Liberation Gibbs wrote one for us, highlighting one of her classes that she's got coming up, her online courses, which we'll talk about. They're little, but that's okay. The pictures. So as part of this grant, we'd like to do, we do American community engagement and outreach. So first one here is American Voices. We had our as part of the 250th anniversary, we put together a student voices piece around that. And so we asked Alabama high school students to talk about, what do you see yourselves doing in the future? How is your past help shape your future? Those kind of things. So we were excited to put together a piece, a 30-minute piece about, and we premiered that at the same event that y'all did the American Revolution. So when people went in and saw the American Revolution, they could also go and see the student voices, hear the 30-minute piece for that. Late October, we had the Great Alabama Cook-Off. We had Carl the Collector there, so it was a cook-off event, but we were in charge of our children's event. So we had our little raccoon friend, Carl the Collector, and did lots of activities with children, like painting pumpkins. They could actually climb on the tractors. We had Talks the Tractor was the main sponsor, so we were excited to see that. And then in December, we had a tree lighting, which was exciting. Our family engagement specialist and myself were invited to go out to Montevallo. We worked there for 5 years. For 5 years, we had the Ready to Learn grant, and so it was kind of like coming to the end. We had from Ready to Learn, so they invited us to like the tree. Train the trainer sessions. So quality enhancement contractors, we are quality enhancement contractors with the Department of Human Resources. And so essentially what that means is that we are able to do trainings for child care providers across the state of Alabama. So we held 5 train the trainer sessions for these groups, Kids and Kin, Family Child Care Partnerships, and general DHR training. They come into our offices and get trained in those trainings, and then we go out and then they present the training for us. It makes sense, train the trainers. So we did 5 of those, we hosted, and then we did a total of 97 in-person workshops. So in addition to going out and doing these train the trainers, we host and actually do workshops. So we did 97 different workshops, just over 1,000 participants, and about 5,000 children's books given out in those workshops.
And that's just in the quarter, correct?
In the quarter, yeah. Yes, so that was just for our in-person trainings. We also do our online trainings. So we had our facilitated courses. They're anywhere from 3 to 7 weeks long in length. So we go on, we do the trainings. We just 5 to 7. I don't know, but anyway, so 5 to 7 weeks long are courses, go out, do the trainings, do those good things. Alabama Early Learning Guidelines is one of ours that is 7 weeks long. It's our most required requested training that we do. And so those are those. And then we also do our on-demand courses. We currently have 35 on-demand courses running right now. We actually had a really good quarter. We had over 5,600 people take our online courses. So that's 5,600.
And these are all required by?
They're required by DHR, but they're not required, if that makes sense. So in order to run and operate your child care center, you have to be offered and take a number of classes, but you don't have to take bar classes. Makes sense. So 5,600 people last quarter. That was exciting. It was a lot. So our education specialists are constantly working, creating new trainings. We're going to have 1 new in-person training, 3 new train the trainers, facilitated courses, and then by the end of the quarter, we'll have 36 on-demand courses. So always creating new trainings out there. We have 3 events going on, so we put flyers on the table back here. But we have our Young Heroes, which is a great activity or engagement activity, I guess, for seniors. So you can nominate a senior. Some juniors can be nominated, but mainly seniors to recognize what they're doing in their community and at their school. And so those are getting $10,000 scholarships. $10,000, a lot of money for those students. So keeping that up. And then we have our Young Heroes. Oh, that's Young Heroes. Young Riders. Young Riders. Young Writers is an illustration and young writing contest for kindergarten through third grade. It is currently open through the end of March. So March 31st, we have the Young Writers, different, every age is a little bit different. Amount of words they have to use, things like that, but basically writing your own story. And this is why you think you should do it. And then Be My Neighbor Day is our big family fun event. It will be happening on February 28th this year in New Heights Community Resource Center in Tuscaloosa. And it's our 10th family-friendly event. And we hope all of the community will come out to that event for us on the 10th.
Now we'll go to Heather with our multi-platform content team.
All
And
right.
everything that they got going on. I'll try to stay ahead.
Okay, well, I have it in front of me, but I don't have my reading glasses, so this is gonna be quite the test for my eyesight. Oh, thank you, Daniel, I'll pick those up if needed. So, yes, we are the new multi-platform content team, and we have been hard at work creating all sorts of content. Well, the first thing I wanted to highlight for you on the content front is the America 250 vignettes. We have completed filming at American Village. I was telling Johnny Curry earlier that I saw his name everywhere while I was doing filming at American Village. But we did a long day there. They were really, really gracious. They allowed us to use their interpreters and their space, and they were just really great hosts. Like, they made everything really, really nice. And so we had a really great day filming with them. It was in the middle of the Verizon outage, so none of our cell phones worked, so we actually got to experience 1776 for real. We have put the first spots into post-production to begin airing in late January, and I do have to say that it's a rough cut. Go ahead, you go first, Mike.
I'm trying to,
It should autoplay if you go
Yeah.
next. It's a little bit of a rough cut, so it's not quite done. It's missing a couple graphics.
I was trying to make sure the buffer's running out there. I have a buffer.
This famous painting by John Trumbull is not actually the signing of the Declaration of Independence. This work shows the Committee of Five, the authors of the Declaration, presenting a draft to the Continental Congress on June 28, 1776, not the day of the signing, which took place on August 2nd that same year. Thomas Jefferson, the primary author of the Declaration, commissioned Trumbull to commemorate the event, but this small oil painting would end up becoming a 30-year project. Trumbull took historical notes from Jefferson, studied Independence Hall, and traveled to every signer for their portrait. If a signer had passed, he either copied from a previous portrait or used their son as a stand-in. Trumbull would later be asked to create 6 historical paintings for display in D.C., including a much larger version of this one, cementing his title as the painter of the American Revolution.
You guys like me to try to replay it. It's still going to have the lag.
There's a few more visuals. Here we are, DC.
Yeah.
This is the rotunda, obviously, and it has 6 Trumbull commission paintings in the U.S. Capitol. And I thought that was really an interesting fact about this painting. I think it's kind of well known as the signing, but it's actually them presenting a draft, which happened earlier in the year. It's previous to them voting on July 4th to declare independence, and then the signing day when most people signed is actually in August 2nd. So the approach with that spot was to take this well-known painting and kind of provide some more information and context, and maybe something that people kind of didn't know, because it's just generally called the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And that's kind of the general approach with the vignettes. We're going to be answering a question or stating kind of an interesting fact in all of them to try to add to the knowledge of the era for everyone. I have any questions? Okay, I have a, John, yeah.
I hate to interrupt, but an interesting fact, if you want to use it at some point, in that Trumbull painting of the signing, look closely at the feet of Thomas Jefferson and John Adams. Jefferson has his foot standing on top of Adams's foot. Which is to point out their long-standing feud.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we are, one of the graphics that's missing is identifying everyone, so maybe we can point that out as well. All right, you're doing a good job of keeping up with me. Okay, so another content highlight that I wanted to do is Jeffrey's Southern Ghosts. This is our new series that we're premiering. It was designed from the beginning to be across all platforms that APT publishes on. So social, media, YouTube, and also broadcast. We came up with this idea to basically bring Catherine Tucker Wyndham and her ghost stories to a new audience. We know from the amazing response we've received online already that she has so many loyal fans, and I think some of them are maybe in the audience, just many, many loyal fans, especially in Alabama. I think if you are of a certain age, you checked out her books at the library at some point. So the idea of this is to give these stories kind of a new life. We go to the location that the stories take place. We talk to locals, we bring in some historians and some historical context, as well as we have a dramatic reading and some illustrations of the story itself. We premiered The Phantom Steamboat of the Tom Bigby on our YouTube channel on December 22nd. We also put a ton of posts up on social media. I have highlighted teaser posts, and we got such a response that we've reached around 540,000 views across YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for this campaign. And our broadcast premiere, as Mike stated, is going to be on February 12th. Here's a small snippet.
Hopefully this will not work.
But as the final chill overtakes you, there's an unearthly sight. There will be no rest in death. Your spirit is an eternal passenger on the ghost ship that will haunt this river forever, bringing doom to all unfortunate enough to see it.
It's the Eliza battle. It's the ghost of the Eliza battle, warning us to leave the river. Some tragedy is going to take place.
Just a true horror. These people were doomed. Their spirits and their souls belong to the Tom Bigby. This fits the description of where it burned and sank.
And they hurry away because they have been warned by the ghost of the Eliza battle.
Her name was Catherine Tucker Wyndham.
You do not have to believe in ghosts to enjoy a good ghost tale.
A folklorist and storyteller, for nearly 50 years, she traveled the South, collecting tales of mystery and the supernatural.
But a good ghost story will stretch your imagination and make you wonder, could that really be true?
But she was not alone. An unearthly presence followed her. She named the spirit Jeffrey. This is what they discovered.
Yeah, it's a little, here's Jeffrey. And the title sequence, there we go. A little out of sync, but I think you can get the idea. We're really, really excited about the community feedback and engagement we've gotten on this series from everyone in Alabama. And in the you don't have to go back, but in the previous slide, you may have noticed that there was a snippet of a Christmas tree and a little ornament, and somebody actually sent us that picture. They sent us a picture of Jeffrey on their Christmas tree, so we're excited about that series. And we've also gotten, I just want to shout out Dilsey Wyndham Hilly, who is her daughter. She's been amazing to work with, and she found all those old VHS tapes of her mother in her attic and brought them to us. So those are my content highlights. And no, we're good. Don't have to move. Okay, so Jeffrey Southern Ghosts that we've been talking about, broadcast premiere February 12th. I will also let everyone know that episode 1 of 2 we are just starting to work on. It will be the Spectre in the Maze story, which takes place at Old Cahaba. And so we are filming with Cahaba Archaeological Park on February 3rd and 4th for that episode. Garden Party with Trace Burnett, we have a new season, and we're going digital, as Mike mentioned. So we will continue to have new monthly digital releases, and we will also have a broadcast premiere on March 19th, 2026, which is also my wedding anniversary, so I guess it's a present to myself. And we will do 4 shows in the spring, 4 in the fall, and 4 in the winter. Was a little bit atypical for broadcast, but we chatted with Mike, and I think that's the best way to represent all of the different content in the series. It's a gardening show, and it follows the series. And then we have special and stuff. So we are making Easter dinner, as Mike mentioned as well. Butcher shop, and to all the work, all of the kids that have also on the 255, we have a project called Revolutionary. These are 2 20-minute digital episodes that will be premiering in February of 2026. This is our education media project that I'm piloting now. It will be going out nationwide on the PBS Learning Media platform, as well as being an APT product. And this is a story that Benjamin Franklin and how he disseminated information around the world, and then something hidden voices where we look at Abigail Adams' personal letters and apply data science to extract information out and social network. Very cool content, and I'm excited for that to come out. Yeah, my science time continues to be one of our top performing local programs on air and online alike. And came out season 4 at the summer meeting, one of the previous meetings. And so we are actively filming that very last week in January. I don't know why we did this to ourselves, because we're filming outside of the zoo all day in the cold. But the locations are the Big Science Center, Birmingham Zoo, the Alabama School of Fine Arts, actually, when we're going to be looking at the science of music, and then the FBI facility at Redstone up in Huntsville for forensics exploration. The Alabama Nature Hub is our other active education media project, and it's basically targeting 7th grade earth science standards. We have a really great lead teacher on board who teaches in the Hoover system. Our education committee is formed, and we're currently working on creating the pilot for that, and it'll come out next fall for next school year. I wanted to do a digital highlight and then some digital info. So digital highlight, the Alabama State of the State address that Governor Ivey did last week was live streamed on the Capitol Journal YouTube site. And because of that, PBS NewsHour reached out to me asking if we were going to be streaming our State of the State, and I said, yes, we are. And so we were able to get Governor Ivey's State of the State covered by PBS News. And so that little highlight there is our State of the State on PBS News' website with a preview of the State of the State written by Todd Stacy. And now, and then it was embedded, and so people could watch it live. And now it lives on in archived form, both on that website and also on Capitol Journal's YouTube page and the PBS NewsHour YouTube page. A little bit of national Alabama coverage we were able to get together on the digital front. Next, okay. We've been very busy, so here's our quarterly digital reach. We created 976 pieces of content and reached 1.1 million people on the quarter. That's October through December. We also were pulling end of year numbers, and we got 4.5 million impressions for the year. Our top posts for views was our Jeffrey's Ghost teaser, and our top post for engagement was the announcement of the Ken Burns American Revolution trailer. On YouTube, we had a really great quarter as well with 340,000 views, which was 391% increase year over year from the same time period as last year. We did have a breakout video in there. It was a monograph about Ajane Williams, who is the metal artist at Sloss, can't say that word, Furnaces. And our website, highlight that I wanted to do is just our education sessions are up. I think Tiffany mentioned the number of people that had gone through our professional development courses. Well, they find out about those professional development courses by first visiting our top page for education, professional development, and that was up this last quarter as well. This is kind of our OTT streaming, our on-demand streaming. These numbers are all specific to Alabama. So these are the Alabamians that are watching this content. We had 12.7 million streams for PBS Kids, with Wildcrats being the top program. General audience streaming was 702,000 streams, with the top program being The American Revolution. And PBS Learning Media content, our top local program was DIY Science Time, but we had 2,402 streams of that content. Again, that's the K through 12 education content. And these numbers are all specific to on-demand streaming by Alabamians.
Specifically Alabama.
Specifically Alabama. Yeah, those are the Alabama numbers. That's all I got.
Doing in here in a minute, but one more, I forgot to put a slide on for Jack, but Jack Williams needs no introduction. Jack will give us an update on what's going on. We've got the governor's budget, and
A couple of
what's going on.
what's going on in Montgomery and Washington. In Montgomery, the governor's budget was released earlier, or was released last week. In the budget, it's in the general budget, we got a 1.54% increase so her proposal was from $10.6 million to $10.8 million. That's, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was 10.6, 10.8. And she also proposed a $2 million supplemental appropriation for the completion of the State House studio, which gives us over the last 2 years, $6 million. But over the last 6 years, we've seen an increase in our budget from 2020 to today, from 8.2 million to 10.8 million, which is about a 20% rate increase. And we received $23.5 million in supplemental appropriations.
That's amazing.
And there are two things going on, two different approaches going on right now. There are members in the House of Representatives who are trying to secure $100 million for public broadcasting in the fiscal year we're currently in. This morning.
You mean at the conference, right?
Yeah, this is DC.
In DC, yes. I'd love to have been from states today. There's a amendment that I've received this morning that I've really not had a chance to research, which would be matching grants for infrastructure. And then there is a couple of Republican senators are floating the idea, since CPB has dissolved and will go away at the end of January, had floated the idea of creating regional hubs that the federal government would give money to state networks in different regions of the country, and those networks would then disperse to the other public broadcasting entities in their region. We have been approached and asked if we'd be willing to be one of those hubs. And I would add one other thing with that, and an additional thing, in December, a letter was written by, there are 19 states that have state networks and 2 Republican U.S. senators. And our trade association has put together a letter that was originally to be signed by the executive directors from those 19 states and go into the 38 Republican members. Once our trade association started working on this, they concluded that they liked the letter enough that they wanted to edit it, and they wanted to edit the letter some and have every station manager that had a Republican senator receive a copy of the letter, and then they in turn wrote the letter that states that had Democrat senators, those GMs would sign, and they had very good success. And the reason I mentioned that, along with the regional hub idea, both of those proposals came out of Alabama Public Television. As a matter of fact, the original we wrote, and when it was sent to them, it was sent with the suggestion that they added it to make it more powerful for people to sign. So I don't know if anything's going to come. I've had some conversations with folks on the Hill, and there's a lot of uncertainty. I would be more surprised if we receive federal funds than I would be if things stayed the same. But there are some efforts underway to possibly, if we receive funds, the House proposal, I thought was going to be 175 million, and that's being led by Congressman Kurt Flood and Don Bacon and Congressman Amadei from Nevada, or through House members leading that. It's originally 175, and I think the Speaker must have negotiated them down to 100 million. And in the Senate, Senator Collins and Senator Kowski are the senior leaders on the Senate side pushing for our funding. But I think that's pretty much it on my end right now.
The reason we kind of we were interested in being a hub is there'll be a administration fee that goes along with that. If we could make a little bit of money for Alabama Television by taking care of that for the distribution. So that's one of the things that Bill Poole and several legislators have said is we need you guys to figure out a way to bring money in as well, try to generate revenue. So that's the end of my report. I left space here for questions and answers. Anybody has anything, we kind of address questions most of the time we've gone through. So unless there's any other questions specifically, yeah.
Not a question. Okay. I just wanted to say that a lot of our efforts have been redirected over the last 10 or 15 years, I guess, to STEM education, workforce development, the prison efforts, and things like that. And I just got I think probably many of you may have seen it. We had a 2.7% unemployment rate in November, which is phenomenal. And there was no one thing that did that. There's a lot of people pulling wagons in the same direction. And we have done what people said 15 years ago, 10 years ago, with the chemical plants and all the big employers, at least around my area, have been saying for 30 years is STEM. Yeah. And the employment is up. That's another number. I don't have that number, but I was informed that number's up as well. It's still trying to be addressed because it's not as high as it should be, but like 60-something% of the workforce type thing. Still, you take your victory when you get it at 2.7%. It's absolutely tremendous.
Good point. And then we're still focusing on that and all the stuff that we do. I mean, we're doing some other stuff with like the Jeffries, but if you look at like Alabama STEM Explorers and DIY Science, we're focusing on that, and a lot of that we're doing for education as well. So,
oh yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Ferris? Oh, don't mind, I'd like to go back to the foundation just for a second. I was caught a little off guard with the nominations and didn't know that they were coming, but there's been discussion about many other people across the state who would like to be a part of that foundation. And I'd like to go ahead to make a motion. Just hang on a second. Bloom. We were just talking about her. Ann Bloom has a profound interest in serving on our board, and I think everyone knows Ann, wife of Hal, daughter Liz, and they have been around the state of Alabama for a long time. And I'd like to nominate her to be on the foundation board as well. I know we have openings.
Well,
And I'd look forward to a second.
Well, what I've done is, I've had a nominating committee, and what we're gonna do on the nominating committee between now and, the next quarterly meeting is to, bring up, nominees for, some of the vacancies on the foundation authority. And so the reason I brought up Dick Brubaker was because I figured he was so much of a known quantity that, and he's been such a friend to us that, we didn't need discussion or meeting him necessarily. I didn't know that you had never met him since you, but he's been around for so long, and so.
No,
I would just suggest that we do that through the nominating process so we can meet.
Well, the motion's on the floor.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I know Mrs. Bloom and Hal Bloom as well, and I do think that since we did do Senator Brubaker's nomination, I think it would be fair to hold a vote on this one as well. So I'm going to second Mrs. Bloom's nomination.
Yeah, thanks.
As far as my discussion is concerned, I know Hal Bloom very well. I've known him for many years. I think the world of him, and so consider him a friend. But I would just ask that we, that we do have a chance to actually meet them before and talk.
That's my point.
Like I said, that was more or less an exception, because and the fact that I didn't want somebody like him to get away from us. So
Well, likewise, I would say the same thing, and the optics of your exception and my exception are, a little on the vague side, but, listen, Ann Bloom would just be a powerhouse for us, and I'd very much like to, and fulfill, her wish, and that is to serve on the foundation board.
Okay. It's my position personally. I would tend to go that direction, but I would just like to meet her.
Yeah, honestly, I had no idea that you were moving in that direction, of course.
But anyway, the only reason I would say no, with my vote would be because of that. Not because I don't think that she would be a good person if only I'd have to really get to know her. Please talk to her.
Yeah. I would like to also, thinks that one of our dial-in people wants to speak.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Over here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes.
I was just wanted to suggest that those nominations be submitted to the committee and then we could look at them all. It just so happened that I knew the senator as well. So, of course, the commissioners should submit the names of those persons of interest that they want to be on the foundation.
Okay. And I go with that. That's what I was trying to say. And the other thing is that I know that we are funded largely by the legislature. And so I would very much like to, at least the people that I deal with that support APTV in the legislature, that we do the job on the nominating committee to make sure that we're getting people on here that are going to follow, like, as articulated by the governor. I mean, that is important because this is a political process. And I know at least I was told by the executive director, I gather, from Arkansas, that was one of their biggest problems, is that the legislature had let them know that it's not the issue they were talking about. The issue is between defunding public television altogether and making sure that it represents Arkansas values in this case. So to me, I've done a lot of research on this. I'm very concerned about it. And so I think we need to follow a process. At least we need to say that. And I'm sorry and surprised that Dick Brubaker, at least by reputation, is not known. But I was, a bit surprised with that. But this other situation, we have a process. We need to follow our process. And that is what I say about that. And agree with what Tucci said.
And in my opinion, I think, it's up to every other public television station. They'd be wise to have like a committee or survey that's being suggested to actually poll their people, to do a real survey of their people to see what their values are, what support, because their taxpayers' money is largely funded by taxpayers' money, that they would be wise to see what the public they serve would want from public television. That's my opinion, but okay. Is there any further discussion?
Well, I just don't want our inconsistencies to be too consistent. I would like very much, to have Ann on the foundation board, and again, I had no idea that you were going to be, suggesting names. I'm curious if any of the other commissioners, did you know about any of these other potential appointees before the meeting? Did you talk to folks about anyone?
Well, I talked to Tawana yesterday. I talked to a couple others. Yeah, I did.
You got my phone number?
Yeah. And
Have emailed you, and I've never heard back from you. So I really would like to hear back from you when I email you about things.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad to do that. So, but I gotta say, a lot of times I call you, you don't call me back either. So, but I'm happy to call you, talk to you anytime. You want to call me, just call me anytime.
I'm talking
I'm
about,
always on
I email because there's a record when you email, and when you make phone calls, there's no record. So that's why I email.
Okay. Well, anyway, I just want to let you know that my phone's always on.
There's written correspondence. Thank you.
Can I make one brief statement? The purpose of the foundation is not to raise money from the legislature. It is to raise money privately.
Okay.
In our record for having raised money privately, it's not that great.
No, I agree.
It's the staff here is doing as good as they can with what the tools they've been given, but we need to really rethink that foundation. Both, there's two foundations. There's the primary foundation that we're talking about right now. And then there's another foundation that was established, and Johnny chairs it. It was kind of a last minute thing. It was set up for a particular incident. And Johnny, you want to talk about that other foundation?
Yeah, it's a totally private foundation that I believe the chair of the executive director has some say in. I think those are the only 4 people up there who are currently on that foundation. Is that correct?
No,
I guess the 3 of us.
yeah.
And, but that one is a completely private foundation, which is what most foundations in the state are. But foundations don't raise money from state legislatures. They raise money privately.
That's what we have Jack here for, the lobby for us in the legislature. Mr. Chairman, I really think to be consistent and fair, we need to do a roll call vote on this.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's a motion and a second, so we will have roll call. So unless there's other discussion, please, if you please, call, we'll now vote on the motion.
Okay. Les Barnett? No. Tawana Adetunji?
No.
Pete Conroy?
Yes.
Logan Glass? Yes. B.B. Williams? Bear Stevens?
No.
William Green Jr.?
No.
Motion fails, Mr. Chairman.
And let me do mention that, we can seek on that private foundation to have, to expand our base for fundraising, of course. That's why it was, that's not statutory. That's created by us, so we can go forward anytime we want. Okay, as far as scheduling the next meeting, I would suggest that the next meeting be on April 21st. I know Tawana, that's a good time for her. So
I have a few other things, 2 other motions I'd like to make. One motion is, first of all, to start off with a thank you to you all for being here. And this is the second meeting with a nice big audience. And I don't know why APT has never had large audiences before. I guess they've never really been invited. So thank you for being here. And I think so many people around the state are appreciating the streaming that's going on now. We need to do a little better with the audio and probably a little bit better with the video. But I'd like to make the motion that we formalize the APT's responsibility in doing that. We're kind of doing this informally right now, but I'd like to formalize a public stream of our meetings by APT, just for the sake of the people of state of Alabama, the folks who couldn't show up and whatnot. So the motion is to formalize that.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chairman, for the sake of transparency.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
Any technical issues, Wayne, regarding that?
No, the only thing we'll have to, which we'll figure out is some videos where we have that lag,
Yeah.
or we gotta figure out a way to handle that. We'll work
I
on
mean,
that.
I for one like to do things deliberatively. I mean, that means stream it like to the world every meeting.
Public television, yeah.
Same discussion.
Would like to say city councils and county commission chambers across our state do exactly what Pete is talking about. So this isn't anything that's out of the norm, or it would very much so be in line with open meetings. So.
Okay. All right. We have a motion on the floor. Any more discussion? Do we want to vote on it now? We ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Les Barnett,
Yes.
Tawana Adetunji,
Yes.
Pete Conroy,
Yes.
Logan Glass, yes. B.B. Williams, Barrett Stevens,
Yes.
William Green Jr.
Yes.
Motion passes, Mr. Chair.
Eric, my other motion, relates to giving the opportunity to speak. And we did that at the last meeting and it was extremely successful. I know we all learned a lot. Now I think 30 minutes is enough. And I don't think any one person should speak for more than 2 or 3 minutes like last time. But I think it's such an effort for all of you to be here. And I know all of you have some thoughts and I know I'm interested and many of us are interested in what you have to say. So my motion would be to formalize a public participation segment for all of our meetings, including this one, no more than 30 minutes. And again, we can formalize the no more than 3 minutes per person. But I'd like to make that motion to make that a part of our commission meetings from now on, including this meeting.
I think we have a responsibility to hear from the people, our constituents, and I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
If I have something to say about it, I vote against it, and the reason, of course, is because the people on this committee are the only ones that are supposed to speak in the different meetings. That is one of the rights and privileges of the committee. It takes up time. And it also, we represent the Senate. The Senate appoints us from different districts and things like that. And so this is supposed to be a representative body. What you have with these other types of venues is people that are interested in topics, particular topics, things like that. And often you have what is referred to politically as the vocal minority. So I have no idea if these people represent the minority. Majority, we're supposed to find that out with our poll. And so that would be a way to do that. But, having people who decide to show up, first of all, you're going to have the same problem I always have is, I've got a 4-hour trip coming. So the whole idea of having state representatives and appointed committees is to try and represent what the job of that entity is. And so it's on us to do that job, and having a situation like this, I don't mind it being at all on the stream. In fact, I asked that question years and years ago. I saw the different committees being not streamed back then, but on TV, generally public health administrations. So I don't have a problem with that at all. But the other is just, I don't think it's productive. It's not what I think it was designed to do. And it's certainly not represented by any means. There's no statistics I've ever seen that would represent something like this would be, that would show or support the notion that something like this would be represented. Certainly it represents the people who show up. Yeah. And
Mr. Chairman, once again, I would just like to say, allowing the public some time to speak is something that is standard at city council, school board, and county commission meetings across our state. I think this is reasonable.
And that speaks to my point, thank you, Logan, is county commissions, school boards, and city commissions are all local. And so there's not the case that an interested person, first of all, they may not be interested in that, they're making a 4-hour trip.
Point he just made.
They're not doing that. It's basically what they have to want. So that's my point exactly. Plus your points.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also like to make the point that Blaine Witt, who's sitting in the second row over there, has done a deep dive into fundraising opportunities, and you're well aware of that. And I know Mr. Green has been in correspondence with Elaine, and she would like to talk to us about how we can raise big bucks. And I can't imagine a reason not to listen to that, sir.
Well, anyway, the last time I was very much in favor of having the public speak, and the reason so many people showed up at that meeting was because it was incorrect information out there that on that meeting we were going to choose to disaffiliate PBS, and that's why everyone came. And so we got a lot of feedback. We had a lot of, I mean, just hundreds of emails. They were all about the same. And so even though I knew that what was going to be talked about was going to be repetitive, then because to let people have the release, I was for having, have the public comment. And so that's why I was for it last time. But this, this time we don't have that. And also, it tends to be, the comments are, they do tend to be repetitive. And so, so that's why I would not be for it, because I think that, I'm just trying to focus on, what our, mission is in this, on this commission. I think that anybody can communicate with us, and they have done that. So that's my opinion. I just like to get forward the business we have. I would like to get to business and get done with the business. And at that point, we can receive anytime we want to. People can reach out to us and we are then receptive to them.
We only gather once in a quarter, and to have the opportunity and the luxury of public comment, to me, is a good thing. Johnny, I'd like to call on you to explain what you had just explained to me with regarding to Les's comments.
Now, Les made one incorrect statement when he said that county boards of education, municipal governments, and county commissions were local governments. County commissions are agencies of the state government created by the legislature, and they are state agencies in the exact same sense that this commission is. It is standard practice in state government that you have public hearings.
I, for one, do not want to see a headline tomorrow that Alabama Public Television has rejected public comments at their quarterly meeting. And I just hope that doesn't happen.
I have a,
Well,
I have a
I
comment.
mean, in the legislature, go ahead. Go ahead, Juan.
The comment that I have is, of course, good afternoon, everyone. I'm always glad to see our viewers attend and to give their opinion. I think all we need is really just maybe some order during the meetings. Maybe one person per district can have a say to represent if they're from second congressional district, third congressional district, and they'll speak on something that is important to them. Not everyone, not 5 people from the same area on the same topic. So I think we just need to allow opportunity for the public to have dialogue for however many minutes, 2 or 3 minutes at a time, with a certain amount of people from maybe 1 from each district. Just come up with some rules, but not say they can't come or speak. That's what I think.
I'd like to call the question.
Questions called. Can you please call the roll?
Les Burnett,
No.
Tawana Adetunji,
Yes, with rules.
I'm sorry, what was a?
She's a yes with the rules.
I'm not sure what that means.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Dave Conroy,
Yes.
Logan Glass, yes. B.B. Williams, Ferris Stevens,
No.
William Green Jr.
Yeah, before I vote, I'd like to make a statement. I think,
Where?
well, can I make a statement? Do I have to vote?
Well, yes, as part of your answer, yes.
Okay, so when I served on city council for a few years, the way that we did it prior to the meeting was that anyone that wanted to speak, they would sign up generally, like the Friday before or at least before the meeting. And that way you had order. And then the chairman would call on each speaker to speak. So at that particular time, you probably know why they're going to speak and what they're going to speak on. So I agree with Adetunji with yes, but with rules and also with a time limit. Generally, when people would speak, it would be a 3-minute time limit, so that people wouldn't go on and on. And so the chairman would run that. But yeah, I think right now at the moment, we don't have any rules, but I do believe that people should speak. And once again, I appreciate all of them coming. And it's great to see them there. But yeah, we should have public comment. I mean, after all, it's Alabama public television. So it'd be kind of ironic that we don't allow public comment. So at any rate, yes, but with rules. And I think that what we should do is establish those rules and put those on the agenda for the next meeting.
Mr. Chairman, the motion carries.
Okay. Okay, any other business of the commission? Okay, so Tuesday, the April 21st is, I would propose that as being the next meeting, primarily because that's why I had asked that in particular. I'll entertain a motion to have that as the date for the next commission meeting.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Public comment. Good. Okay, we'll have time for public comment.
I'm Liz Lady from Huntsville. Thank you to the commission for hearing me. I have been a WLRH listener since I moved to Alabama 30 years ago. And I think I represent the feelings of many Huntsville listeners and donors to the station. First, let me commend the staff of WLRH for coping heroically with the decision that was imposed on them last year. They have come up with a lot of creative ideas and good local reporting, but the listening community feels shut out by not being included on changes, dropping NPR and the format that they had previously loved. Donations and audience have got to be dropping. I think we will see that soon in figures. Only time will tell whether those loyalties can be rebuilt and how long it will take. Fundraising from a donor base who feels betrayed has got to be difficult. I hear that there is work going on by Senator Orr, possibly others, to transfer the station's license to Alabama Public Radio. In terms of Huntsville listeners, this also presents some problems. We gain NPR, which most of us want, but we lose local content. Huntsville deserves better. We can support better. With the exception of B.B. Williams, I don't believe any of you commissioners actually listen to WLRH. Here's what I'd like to see happen. Appoint a study committee made up of actual WLRH listeners and donors. I would gladly join that committee, and I can think of other likely members. Let us explore possibilities for returning the license to Huntsville. Give us time to talk with local authorities and report back. Local input can help this situation transform from a thorn in your side to a win-win for everybody, for the commissioners, for Huntsville, maybe even the whole state of Alabama. Give Huntsville a chance to do what we do best, to find a solution to a problem. We're an amazing community and we can do it.
Yes, my name is Elaine Witt, and I'm a retired person now. But the last 6 years of my working life, I worked as a professional funder, as a development director for a nonprofit. And I know that the legislature is an important source of funding for APT, but major donors, I think, are where some more attention needs to be paid right now. The nonprofit that I worked for always had a volunteer development committee, and these are typically made up of people who have their own wealth, and they are major philanthropists within the community, and also people who have access to corporate wealth and corporate foundations. And I would recommend that that this commission consider setting up a volunteer fundraising committee of people who have access to wealth, because people who have access to wealth can help your wonderful fundraising team ask for big gifts. Your team can always use the support of wealthy people and corporate leaders in asking for money. And I think that there's possibly a lot of money being left on the table by not having your wealthy donors help you in this way. I would also say that you're talking about surveying. It's great to do surveys, but survey your donors, survey your viewers, because these are the people who are supporting you now. These are the people who could be giving you a lot more than we are now. And one thing that you could do to show faith with these donors is affirmatively commit to keeping the PBS programming that not only the people in this room, but your major donors out there and your potential major donors. The reason that we give money is for the programming that you have now. And I would like to see this commission, in the interest of fundraising, extend your contract with PBS, however that's done.
My name is Michael Crowell. I live here in Birmingham. I just want to first of all make a case that for similar comments, it's easy to dismiss one comment, but when you have multiple comments, people talking about the same thing, perhaps it's a sign of something larger going on. Perhaps it's a sign that we're not necessarily considering the full picture. I want to thank members of the commission as well who continue to support Alabama Public Television and its affiliation with PBS. I really hope you will continue that commitment. I also want to encourage equal support for WLRH. This is, of course, the public radio station in Huntsville that this commission governs. I too want to acknowledge the great work by the staffs of APT and WLRH. They're serving the public under what can be very trying circumstances. They have dedicated, in some cases, many, many years, along with the millions of dollars invested by viewers and listeners since APT was founded in 1955 and WLRH in 1976. They deserve stability, clarity, and support. Since last fall, WLRH listeners have been without NPR programming. This was a mistake. I say that as someone who has spent a career in public media. NPR does more than provide content. It provides identity. Programs like Morning Edition, All Things Considered, Weekend Edition, Fresh Air, they create the habit, they create the trust and the identity that bring listeners to the station in the first place. Local programming depends on the foundation. It doesn't compete with NPR. It benefits from the audience that NPR builds. And by the way, PBS plays the same role for APT. Removing NPR from WLRH broke the anchors that hold an audience. Without meaningful market research, something far beyond an online poll, hoping a new audience will appear is guessing. PBS programming was preserved for APT at the last meeting. I hope that affiliation continues. Viewers still have a chance to step up and support it. WLRH listeners were never given the chance to support NPR. That decision was made unilaterally. As one listener said at the last commission meeting, you never even asked us. Without NPR programming as part of the mix on WLRH, the commission should expect a loss of audience, a loss of membership, loss or pullback of underwriters, and public questioning of the organization's direction. These consequences are beginning to emerge at WLRH right now in ways that mirror what public media stations typically experience when they lose their core identity. The opportunity is still here for support. Please take this.
I'd like to riff and augment what he had said. I'm Morgan and Greeley. I travel from Huntsville with a contingent people, listeners for WLRH. Looking at the listener base and fundraising potential, and having looked at the most recent available WLRH financial, this decision removes NPR coverage. NPR content seems more political than financial. I want to pause for a second. Good morning. I'm an engineer. I'm legally required to throw some numbers. It appears that $125,000, $130,000 CPV funding has resulted in about a $300,000 predicted loss in donations and funding over the next year. And this is on a budget of $1.5 million. I base this on studying the most recent financial available at the APT website. And I must now credit the staff with the production of outstanding local programming, some of which is the highlight of my week. However, it is clear they cannot help but fall short of the paid syndicated programming in terms of depth, breadth, and quality. And I am saddened myself, and I have to admit that I'm not listening as much as I've been recently. It now seems we have started stress tests of WLRH. When will we know if this experiment is working? How much time we're going to give this new staff to prove they can expand or even equal past donations without the driver that is NPR? What happens if this experiment fails? We deserve transparency on a long-term plan. Is there a long-term plan? North Alabama is full of smart, resourceful people. Huntsville is currently Alabama's most prosperous state. We are a bunch of aerospace engineers. The original failure is not an option crowd. In the flesh, this commission's decision has left one of APT's biggest donor faces less informed and disenfranchised. It's also wounded an institution celebrating the 50th anniversary this year. We are not happy at all, but gives us a chance to do what we do best. As Liz said, solve problems. We propose forming a Friends of WLRH advisory working group. Fill it with informed listeners from North Alabama. It's clear this commission operates in a vacuum when it comes to the needs of the public mission it serves. Look at this crowd. If you need evidence, We are not here to congratulate you guys on a good job. If you want our money for WLRH and APT, how do we know you're listening to our opinions? I suggested you listen and give people what they want. You'll see the money rolling. But it takes listening and discussion. Listeners don't want to fund Alabama Commissioner Television or Alabama Legislative Radio. We want public TV. We want public radio. We are the public. We pay the bills. If such committee is formed, it includes the WLRH, better off in a new home. Would you pass the state of license to an appropriate?
I'm sorry, 3 minutes and we're well over 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Okay. But we want to work with this commission to assure that WLRH is strong and serve as loyal audience member the next 50 years. Will you work with us? We await your answer. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Russo, I'm from Huntsville also. I drove up here and, I don't get paid to come here like you guys do, which I'm glad that you do. I do want to ask, where are we on answering?
We don't get paid, by the way.
We got what the Supreme Court says we don't.
But you get money to drive up here. Okay, my point is, where are we on the governor's, letter? Reaching out to us and asking us what we want. I do believe that was part of the letter, right?
Yes, I'm glad to answer that question. The purpose of us having this committee is to fulfill the governor's request in that, and at the beginning, I read what her requests were. The thing that she is most concerned about is, and I'm glad we're having this survey, because our charge here with Alabama Educational Television Commission, our charge is to serve the people of Alabama, all the people. But and really, it's not just, one group or another.
Right.
And so the governor's priorities, which she says it's imperative for APT's programming, is to align with Alabama values. And that's not necessarily with any particular group. That is with all of Alabama's values, the people that our statutory requires us to serve. And each of us come from a congressional district.
So how are
And
you doing the survey?
Well, the only way that
I'm getting ready to form a committee that's gonna be doing that, yes.
so what she wants,
No.
what she wants is to, she says, as governor, I've worked hard to promote and defend Alabama values. From standing up for the sanctity of human life, for our rights to religious liberty, to standing up against DEIs, DRT, and boys playing girls sport. That's our mission. That's what we voted on last night to do. That's what we will do.
Read that at the beginning. We got that, but we didn't get is how you're gonna do it. How are you gonna do this?
Well, that hasn't been decided yet, and I'm gonna be forming a committee that's gonna put together a group that's gonna determine that, and we'll bring back to the committee for them to do it.
So-
And I'm gonna start that this week. But I'm not, it's just, I'm not gonna call every single person that's listening. I'll put together a committee that's gonna be doing this.
Okay, and how are you gonna select that committee?
That's up to me. I've already got people's names but I haven't contacted anyone yet other than a couple.
Okay,
So,
Well, that's the purpose of this committee, is to carry out the governor's plan. And that's what the commission has charged.
well, and her concern was you didn't listen before. So that's why she sent the letter, correct?
Well, she asked us in an event that we should decide to just affiliate with PBS, to do so in a very deliberative fashion. That we in fact did that. We chose to renew the contract.
So.
We didn't choose to keep the contract.
July, and then there's another vote, correct? Isn't there another vote in July?
Well, every single public television station and everywhere renews every year.
I would like to ask that you.
And they do have to consider price too. I know that we don't even know the price yet.
I understand that. would like to recommend that your audio is better that you stream it. We have people that are trying to listen. We're also trying to, collect, the Alabama channel in, Alabama is trying to, collect this for the library. Our libraries in Alabama channels. I would suggest that you too, document your video and keep it in a library so we can use it. We haven't paid attention for too long, and I think we are very concerned. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hadn't planned on speaking. I'm Greg Flanders. I'm from rural Cleveland County, Alabama. I've been there for 53 years now.
Glad to have you back. You came last time.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. My wife's from Cleveland.
I would like to make a couple of suggestions. Mr. Barnett had a very good one. To listen to the same old thing over and over again, sure, why bother? Governing by mobs is not the way to govern. I agree with that. You're wanting to get through the business. I think that's a great idea. I would respectfully suggest you folks talk, first of all, let me go back one. This not. All of you, I hope, want to have Alabama public television thrive. If not, we all got a hell of a problem. Please make that your goal, to make it thrive. Talk to each other, get along with each other, put out your information in more detail. Here is the agenda. You've all seen it. Here's the final agenda. Get the bloody sound and crap fixed. I'm not an engineer, with all due respects, but the biggest Baptist church in the state can make it work, even if we can't. So please, folks, talk to each other, work together. Openness is really important. We're not trying to run your job. We're glad you're here working for us. But we need Alabama public television to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just say this, that it's been my goal, and I've stated it many times, is for us to be the very best public television station in this country. And I've stated that many times, and that's always been my goal. It's who we pick as executive director, is who the decisions that we make. And so the devil's in the details, but it's always been my passion to do.
Thank you. And I think that should be all of our goals. And by the way, I think we are the best in the nation. I talk to people all over the country, and we do better at programming than any place I know of.
Yes. I love the programming wins awards.
Yeah, well, it's wonderful.
Yes, it's great. I'm not normally a very involved person, and I don't get up and speak in front of people, and I don't even really know about how all of this is working. But I love NPR, so I hope that that stays. But I was one of the people who never knows what's going on, who was blindsided in Huntsville by the public radio being gone. I also, like this gentleman, I don't listen anymore, because when I would listen was 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock for the news, and now it's something that doesn't interest me. It's not the news, and that's not where I'm getting my news anymore. And you keep referencing this letter from the governor, but her letter says members of the public should be able to respond to the plan for a considerable length of time before any vote is taken. And I don't remember being ever given any option to know it was coming to give any response. So if you're going to keep referencing the letter, please don't reference just little parts of it, reference the whole letter. It's very frustrating.
She was addressing whether to keep our new contract with PBS.
Yes, but I think she's also talking about just in general. And it's just frustrating that you pick little parts and go with it.
Can this letter be published on the website? So we all can see exactly what the governor.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is on there, because I've looked for it, maybe I just.
Yeah, they're checking in the website. They have.
Okay, I stand corrected, thank you.
Krista Bond from a Birmingham resident, and I would just say, if you drop PBS, Nobody here will ever give another dime to APT. And I know that there are people on this committee who have pointed out children's program that they find objectionable. So I just have to look at some of the children's programming that is available today. Let's see. This is Lila in the Loop. Lila and Everett make a lemonade stand to raise money for the animal shelter. And then Lila and Everett learn double dutch to become part of the neighborhood crew. Let's see. This is Molly Denali. Molly and Barrett visit an excavation site where they make a discovery. The sassy ladies of Saskatoon search for glacier. Weather hunters. The hunter kids head to the state park to learn why leaves change color. I don't find this objectionable at all. And this is all PBS. And I can go on and on and on. Wild crats. The wild crats discover how pond animals survive during winter. Again, I think this falls under Governor Ivy's idea of what would be acceptable for children. The other thing that people on the commission have not liked is how PBS covers news. It is factual. It does not tell you what to think. It tells you to think. Using your brain matter between your ears. It's not dictating anything. It's very impartial, factual. Not fantasy or fiction like some other news outlets. Again, you drop PBS, we're gone.
Oh,
Here.
Well, I'm not gonna be real quick. I don't understand Alabama values. Basing your whole programming on Alabama values as defined by Kay Ivey. I think many of us don't share some of those. We're good people, we go to church, but we're not against rights for gay people. We're not against a lot of the things that are like against religion. I mean, we want freedom of religion, but only our Christian religion, not the other people who live in this country. We're for DEI, and I even think it's good to be woke. To know what's happened. What happened in the past, and so I think that's why you need to listen, to know that there are other people that are good people that give money to the station hall, but they do not share those values. So don't base your programming on Alabama values as defined by Kay Ivey.
We're all.
Values are additive, not exclusive. We also have Alabama values.
Here.
yes, sir.
I'm another member of the Huntsville contingent. My name is David Brown. I've lived in Huntsville for 35 years. The first 10 of those years, I worked at WLRH. Before I lived in Tuscaloosa, I worked for 8 years at WUAL. I was part of the original crew of WUAL. I have been watching APT programs since I was in high school. So public broadcasting is really near and dear to my heart. I think I will keep this short, but I think what Morgan was trying to get to at the very end of his statement was the question we would like to have answered is, if a group of Huntsville citizens could identify an entity, a legitimate, responsible entity that was committed to the public service mission of WLRH, would it be possible to transfer that license from APT to that entity? And if it's possible, what would that process entail? What would it look like?
Any further discussion? There being none, thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Well, Brett, we wait your amazing.
Okay, there being no further business, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. That's two. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those who return. We're going to take a break.
We're having a 30-minute break, a 20-minute break. I usually end up start the